All right, today we're going to be working on solving multi-step equations. Yesterday in class, we went over solving single-step equations as well as two-step equations, and we reviewed that at the beginning of class today. Now we're going to be getting into problems where we have to combine like terms or distribute across parentheses and combine like terms with solving. So we'll kick it off with these examples at the top. You'll notice there's no parentheses in here. But the added step we have to start with is the idea that this equals sign in the middle of our equation is acting as a barrier between the left and right side of the equation. Okay, so what we mean by that is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check and see is there anything we can combine on the left or right hand side. So on the left side, we just have a -4. So that's fine. Can't do anything there. So -4 equals. If we look at the right side, what we're looking for is do we have any like terms? Here we do. We have a -7x and a plus x. Those can be combined. So we combine -7x and the plus 1x. -7x plus 1x is -6x plus 2. Those two cannot be combined with the -4 because they're on opposite sides of the equation. From here, this turns into just a solving problem. So from here, this would look just like the problems we did yesterday. So our goal is to get x by itself, where our answer is x equals something. Well, in the way, we have this +2, and we have this -6 in front. So reminder that first we're going to get rid of this +2 at the end. The opposite of adding 2 would be subtracting 2. So -4 minus 2, that's -6, equals, well, these canceled over here. So we're left with just -6x on the right. Now we keep solving. So we want to get rid of the -6 in front. So we're going to divide both sides by -6. Final answer, x equals -6 divided by -6, that'd be 1. Okay, so we get x equals 1. Okay, so let's practice. So we look at 2. Again, this equal sign right here, that's our barrier. So we want to check and see, is there anything we can combine on the left or the right? On the left, we have like terms, -4x and 8x. We can put those together. So -4x plus 8x, that's 4x equals, then on the right, there's just -8. There's nothing we can do there. So now we have 4x equals -8. This is actually simpler than the first one, right? Because all we have to do is get rid of that 4 in the front, and we'd be good to go. If it's 4x, we want to divide both sides by 4 to get rid of that 4. So x equals -8 divided by 4, -2. So that would be our final answer. Remember, our final answer in these is always x equals some number. All right, now we look at 3. So this is different than what we had yesterday because you're hopefully seeing that when we make our barrier, the equal sign, when we analyze the left and right, this time we have variables on both sides. So we have an r over here and we have an r over here. So we're going to look and see if we can combine anything. Left side, 6r plus 1. Those are not like terms. We can't do anything there. Right side, -8 plus 3r. Cannot combine those. They're not like terms. So now we have variables on both sides. So the general rule we're going to follow is we're going to get rid of the smaller one. Okay, so for comparing 6r and 3r, 3r is smaller, so let's get rid of that. How do we get rid of a plus 3r? Well, the opposite of adding 3r is subtracting 3r. Notice where we're writing it. We're writing it directly underneath the r's because that's what we're going to subtract from. So on the left, we would do 6r minus 3r. Well, that's going to be 3r. We still have plus 1 equals, we still have -8. And then the 3r minus 3r, we canceled that out. That was the whole goal. Notice now we just have one variable left. So again, now if we look at our problem, this is similar to what we had yesterday in class. So it's a solving problem from here. So we're trying to get r by itself. But first we want to get rid of the plus 1. So we'd subtract 1 on both sides. So now we have 3r equals -9. -8 minus 1 is -9. Now we keep going. Want to get rid of the 3 in front, so we divide both sides by 3. So negative 9 divided by 3, that'd be negative 3. So R equals negative 3. Okay. If we look at 4, negative 6 plus 8k equals negative 2k plus 4. So we start by looking at the equal sign in the middle. We're going to look at the left side and the right side and see if there's anything we can combine on either side. So on the left, negative 6 plus 8k, those aren't like terms. Can't do anything there. On the right, negative 2k plus 4, not like terms. Nothing we can do there. We do have k's on both sides. So next, we're going to look to get rid of one of them. Remember, our general rule is we're going to get rid of the smaller one. So we got to get rid of the negative 2k. Well, to get rid of a negative 2k, we're going to add 2k, right? Because negative 2k plus 2k, those cancel each other out. Notice we're going to write it on the left side, right underneath the 8k, because that's what we're going to add to, because those are the like terms. Okay, so we have negative 6 still, plus 8k plus 2k, that'd be 10k, equals, right side, these cancel, so all we're left with is 4. Again, now if we look at our problem, this is like what we had yesterday. So far, that first step is all that's new. Okay, so now we're going to solve for k. Well, first we want to get rid of the negative 6 in front. Okay, so we can add 6 to both sides. So now we're left with 10k equals 10. Keep going. Divide both sides by 10. 10 divided by 10, k equals 1. Okay, so far, first two problems, we practiced combining like terms within the problem. Okay, then 3 and 4, we practiced variables on both sides. Now let's put both together. Okay, so now we look at 5. So we have variables on both sides. Let's also begin by checking to see if we can combine any like terms. So left side, 10 minus k, nothing we can do there. So 10 minus k equals, right side, we have negative, oh, not k, this is an x. Sorry about that, misread it. 10 minus x equals, look at the right side, negative 3x and plus 4x, those are like terms. Okay, so negative 3x plus 4x, that would make x, or 1x. Well, now we have variables on both sides. We just have this one number 10 over here. Remember, our end goal is to have a number on one side, the variable on the other, right, on opposite sides. So here, we would have to get rid of this minus x next. So how do we get rid of a minus x? Well, the opposite of subtracting x is adding x. So I'm going to add x on both sides. That's going to cancel out the minus x on the left. So we're going to be left with 10 equals, well, x plus x, that's 2x. Now we keep going, so we have 2x over here, so we divide both sides by 2. So x equals 5. Okay. Look at 6. Okay, so we have variables on both sides. Again, our first step, we're going to look and see, can we combine anything on the left or on the right? So on the left, we have 4 minus 5n. Nothing we can do there. So 4 minus 5n equals, now on the right, we do have some like terms. So we have a 9 and a 2. Those can be combined. So 9 plus 2, 11. And we also have a plus n and a minus 7n. So plus n minus 7n, that would be minus 6n. Okay, now we still have variables on both sides, numbers on both sides. There's no more like terms that we can combine. So the next step is we want to get rid of one of our n's. We're always going to get rid of the smaller one. Okay, so if we're comparing negative 5n and negative 6n, the smaller one is actually negative 6n, because that's more negative. Okay, so to get rid of a minus 6n, we're going to add 6n to both sides. Okay, so now, again, notice how we're staying organized. We're putting that right underneath our variables. So the 4 is still in front. So we have 4, then negative 5n plus 6n to be plus n, right, 1n equals the negative 6n and plus 6n cancel each other out. So all we're left with on the right is 11. So now we have 4 plus n equals 11. Keep solving. So now to get rid of this 4 in front, we would subtract 4. Notice we didn't divide by 4 there because it's 4 plus n. The opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4. If it was 4 times n, then we would divide by 4. Okay, so those 4's cancel here. So final answer, n equals 11 minus 4, 7. Okay, so that's a review of combining like terms and solving with variables on both sides. Now we're going to review solving where we have to distribute. So our first step, anytime we're looking at an equation when we have parentheses, is we're going to multiply across the parentheses to undo them. So like in 7, we would start by multiplying the 3 to both the terms on the inside. So 3 times negative 5n, that'd be negative 15n. 3 times negative 2 would be minus 6 equals still 114 over here. Okay, now we keep solving. So now this looks just like what we had at the beginning. Okay, it's a two-step equation from here. So we get rid of the minus 6 next by adding 6 on both sides. So now we would have negative 15n equals 120. We keep solving. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 15. Notice it's negative 15 we're dividing by, not just 15. Okay, so then n equals, you might need to pull out a calculator for this, 120 divided by negative 15. That's going to be negative 8. So that would be our answer. N equals negative 8. All right, let's try another one. So we're going to multiply the 7 to both first because we want to get rid of the parentheses first. We have 392 equals 42x plus 56. Now we keep going. So we want to get x by itself. So next we want to get rid of the plus 56. So we subtract 56 on both sides. This is testing some math skills here. So 392 minus 56, that would be 336 equals 42x. Okay, so now we would keep solving. So we divide both sides by 42. Get x equals 8. Okay, a little bigger numbers there. All right, we're going to keep building. So let's go to the back side of this worksheet. So now we have parentheses and terms on the same side. So again, our first step whenever we have parentheses in a solving equations problem is we're going to distribute. Let's do that first. Multiply the 8 to both. So 8 times b, 8b. 8 times negative 7 minus 56 minus 6 equals negative 102. Okay, so now this actually looks like the problems on the front side from here. Reminder, this equal sign is our barrier. So we need to look at combining any like terms. If we look on the left, 8b does not have any like terms. But if we look, negative 56 and negative 6, those are on the same side. Those can be put together. Okay, so we have 8b, then negative 56 minus 6, that'd be minus 62 equals negative 102. Now we're all the way to the point where this could have been a problem from yesterday. So it gets simpler as we do steps. So next we'd add 62 to both sides. So we have 8b equals negative 102 plus 62. It's negative 40. Divide both sides by 8. So negative 5. Okay, let's try another one. We'll start by distributing this negative 8 to both. Notice the negative 8 does not get multiplied to the 2 because that's not part of the parentheses. Okay, so negative 8 times 5, negative 40. Negative 8 times positive 4v, that'd be minus 32v. And we rewrite the rest. Plus 2 equals negative 134. Again, now this looks like the problem's at the beginning. So we're going to treat this equal sign as our wall between the left side and the right side. And we look for are there any like terms to combine. So we look at the left. Yes, we can combine negative 40 and plus 2. So negative 40 plus 2, that's negative 38 minus 32v equals negative 134. Now we keep going. Now this could have been a problem from yesterday. Okay, so we would get rid of the negative 38 next. So you'd add 38 to both sides. Those cancel in front. So now we have negative 32v equals, we have negative 134 plus 38. So it's still negative. You can use a calculator to help out. 96. Keep solving. So now we want to get rid of the negative 32v. So we divide both sides by negative 32. So we have v equals 3. That'd be our final answer. Okay, we're building. Each pair gets a little bit tougher. Okay, so now we finish up with problems where we have 2 sets of parentheses. This process is still the same. We're going to multiply across parentheses first. So in this one, we still have negative 74 equals, we're going to multiply across these parentheses. So 8 times 8n, 64n, 8 times 7 plus 56. Now we're going to multiply negative 2 to both of these because that minus sign is attached to the 2. So negative 2 times 2n minus 4n, negative 2 times 5 minus 10. Now this turns into a combining like terms problem. And that equal sign here, that's our barrier. So we still have negative 74 on the left equals. Now we're going to combine what we can. So we can combine 64n and minus 4n. So 64n minus 4n, that's 60n. Then we can combine the plus 56 and the minus 10. So 56 minus 10 would be plus 46. Okay. So now this, again, now we're all the way to the point where from here it's like yesterday. We subtract 46 on both sides. So negative 74 minus 46, it's negative 120 equals 60n. Finish this problem up by getting rid of the 60. So divide both sides by 60. Get n equals negative 120 divided by 60, negative 20. Oops, sorry, negative 2. My fault. N equals negative 2. Okay. Why don't we stop here? Why don't you guys try to do 12 on your own and then input your final answer into the video? It's just like 11. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, so we multiply the 5 to both. So we have 5n plus 30. All right, because multiply 5 by 6, that's 30. Plus 7 times 5, 35. 7 times negative 8n minus 56n equals negative 37. Okay, now we look to combine any like terms. So our equal sign is over here. So if we look, we have a 5n, and that would match with the negative 56n. So 5n minus 56n, that'd be negative 51n. Then we combine the plus 30 and the plus 35 to be plus 65 equals negative 37. Keep going. So plus 65 is right here. So we want to get rid of that. So we subtract 65 on both sides. So we have negative 51n equals, so we have negative 37 minus 65. So that would be negative 102. Now we get rid of the negative 51 by dividing by negative 51. So we get n equals negative 102 divided by negative 51, positive 2. That'd be our answer. N equals 2. All right. So those two, the parentheses are on the same side of the equation. They can also be on opposite sides. Okay, so let's try 13. Again, first step is the same. We multiply across parentheses. So negative 5 times negative 2x, that'd be positive 10x. Negative 5 times negative 7 plus 35 equals, so this negative x is in front. That's not attached to anything over here. So we're just going to rewrite negative x. Then we distribute this negative 6 to both. So negative 6 gets multiplied to both these terms. So negative 6 times x, it's minus 6x. Negative 6 times negative 3 plus 18. It's plus 18 because it was a negative times a negative. Okay, now we look and see, can we combine anything? So left side, 10x plus 35, nothing we can combine. So we just rewrite it. 10x plus 35 equals, we look at the right, well, we can combine negative x and negative 7x. Right, that's saying negative 1x minus 7x. Or sorry, negative 1x minus 6x. So that'd be negative 7x plus 18. Now this looks like problems from the front side, right? So we have variables and numbers on both sides. There's nothing else we can combine. So when we have x's on both sides, we're going to get rid of the smaller x next. So we want to get rid of this negative 7x. So we can add 7x to both sides. So now 10x plus 7x, that's 17x plus 35 equals, well, these canceled. That was the whole point. So on the right, we're left with just 18. Okay, now we keep going. We're trying to solve for x. We can subtract 35 on both sides. So now we have 17x equals negative 17. Last step, get rid of the 17 in front. Divide both by 17. So we get x equals, so negative 17 divided by 17, negative 1. X equals negative 1. All right, put it all together, guys. Why don't you guys try to do 14, and then we'll check our work after. All right, let's see how we did. So we're going to distribute across parentheses first. So 6 times negative 2, negative 12. 6 times 7n plus 42n equals, multiply the 5 to both. 5 times negative 2, negative 10. 5 times 8n plus 40n. Notice there's still that plus 6 at the end, so check your work and make sure you still carried over that plus 6 at the end. Next, we combine any like terms. So equal signs right here. Left side, nothing we can combine. Negative 12 plus 42n, those are not like terms. There's negative 12 plus 42n equals, we look at the right, well, we have a negative 10 and a plus 6. Those are like terms. Negative 10 plus 6, that's negative 4 plus 40n. Okay, now we have numbers on both sides, variables on both sides. So next we get rid of the smaller variable. So next let's get rid of this plus 40n. So we subtract 40n on both sides. So on the left we'd have negative 12 plus 2n equals, over here these 40n's cancel, so we're just left with negative 4. Now we finish solving. So I want to get n by itself. So first let's get rid of this negative 12. To get rid of a negative 12, we'd add 12. They cancel each other out. So those cancel. We're left with 2n equals negative 4 plus 12, 8. Divide both sides by 2. Should have got n equals 4. Okay. So that's our lesson today on solving multi-step equations. That's what we'll keep practicing tomorrow in class.